this is a part you have to be careful of now. We're going to add our NPN, phew, I can't talk today, NPN transistor. So this has 3 legs to it. If you look down on top, you can see it sort of is flat on one side there. I don't know how well you can see that. It has like a flat side, and then it has a semicircle. So you want to lay that down so the flat side is up. This left leg is the emitter, the center leg is the base, and the right leg is the collector. So you might want to get that in your head as you're looking at emitter, base, and collector, because each of these has to be connected to a different point. So what we want to do now is made the 3 holes here for the transistor, and we want to go ahead and add that in. Put that in, and it's going to be a little difficult to get this positioned, and apologies for the camera work here. This is like microsurgery, trying to get this positioned in here, and there we go. You can kind of see that. It probably is hard to see because it too is black, and you see that mounted. Now the base one, which is the one coming from the center here, and make sure you get them right, the one coming from the center down, you have 3 leads coming down. The one in the center that's sort of offset from the other ones, the one back here, back one, is going to, believe it or not, join up to where the post with all the resistors and all that electrolytic capacitors. That'll be the 5th thing that's joined to that post, and then we'll talk about where the other ones go. Next, I want to hook the collector leg of the transistor to the coil, and to do that, it's a pretty long distance, so I'm using a bit of hookup wire here to make the connection to the bottom of the coil, and this will be the side of the coil that wasn't connected before. And make sure you get a good mechanical connection before you solder. So once again, hook to the collector of the transistor here, down here. So I'm going to go ahead and solder those 2 points, and the other end is going to the bottom of the other side of the coil, the one that we didn't already hook up here. So let's go ahead and get that all set. Get that heated so she flows good, and it's going to take a minute to heat up that coil, okay? Make sure you get a really good connection, and then the other end, alright, is going to be on the collector of the transistor, and all that leaves is the emitter that hasn't been collected. So you can go ahead now and trim up some of your, well, don't trim up anything yet because we have to connect all the grounds together on here. So alright, so take a look. There's our board is building up really good. So let's take a break for a minute and get ready for our next step. Next step could be a little tricky because you're working in tight. The next thing we want to do is take one of our 10 picofarad, one of our little tiny capacitors, and run it across the emitter and the collector and make the connection there. Make sure that you are not shorted out on that, okay? You can see our little bad boy right there. So across the emitter and the collector of the transistor, and you may have to do that below as I did there, just to keep it neat and orderly on the top there, okay? All right, we're almost done our connections. Hang in there. Next, we're going to add our 470 ohm resistor, and that's going to hook to the base of the, one side's going to hook to the base of the transistor, along with where we just hooked that capacitor up, one leg of that capacitor, and the other end is going to be a future ground, so that'll just be hanging there for right now, okay? All right, yep, we just keep adding and adding and adding here. You should have one little 10 picofarad capacitor left, and that's going to go from the end of the coil, where we connected to the resistor on there, the other end over here, to the lightly connected end here, and we're going to do that. And the other one end is going to be there on that end of the coil, and the other end is going to be going to form part of the ground. So the only thing left to do is combine our grounds, hook up our battery, And we'll get our source set and we'll be ready to give this a go. I stripped off the copper off a piece of hookup wire, and what I'm going to do now is go around and hook up all the ground ends here, the ones that don't have anything hooked to them, and then we'll go ahead and position our battery. So just going to use a piece of bare wire. Just make sure you don't short anything out. Try to go around the outside perimeter of it. Okay, you can see kind of the ground loop that I have going on here, and you don't want, the only one you don't want to hook up, you don't want to hook up that negative leg of that electrolytic capacitor, which is that golden black can up there. You want to make sure you skip that one, because that's going to be part of your input there. So I've got that, all the grounds connected together, and I made a little thing to secure the battery on top. I soldered some connections to the battery there, and the black connection is going to go to your ground loop and feed into that, and then your red connection is going to go to the side of the coil where you have your big 0.01 microfarad capacitor hooked up. Okay, that'll be like the fourth or fifth thing we have connected on there. So I want to go ahead and solder up that connection now. Okay, we're doing our first dry run now, and you can hear I'm inputting Tchaikovsky. This thing is really sensitive, guys. I mean, if you're, you know, if I'm standing near this thing, needs a little more. It must have a loose connection in there, but you can hear she's broadcasting. I'm running the positive into that leg of the capacitor here, that one I was telling you about, the golden black can on there. That's the electrolytic capacitor, and the other end is going to ground in there. Kind of cool, huh? Our own broadcast station. And it seems like we're broadcasting on 98 even Rancho Radio. Nice and clean too. A nice little flea watt transmitter. Why don't we go inside the house now and see if we can pick it up inside? That'll be kind of cool. I know I do goofy stuff, guys, you know. I told you winter time would be fun here. It beats cutting the grass, I can tell you that. So let's see if Missy Jen's ready for her concert yet. Hello, Missy Jen. Buenos tardes to you. Mandy's got a new bed, which she's not laying in there. So let's go ahead and put this on. Let's see if we can pick it up. No, it doesn't seem like we're picking it up in here. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. No. We'll have to go outside and see if we can tweak it a bit, guys. Let's try it again. I sort of tweaked the input. I probably had the leads reversed there and kind of out of phase. We also need better grounding here. We're just internally grounded in the circuit. But let's head back inside and see if we can pick it up inside now. Good exercise going back and forth. Not every rancho has its own radio station, huh? All right, Jen, let's try it again. There it is. Missy Jen, we have success. Tchaikovsky says so. We have our own Rancho, the KRRJ. Rancho, the Rosie and the Jen. KRRJ is on the air. That's pretty cool, huh? Pretty wild, huh, guys? Well, let's add a little grounding outside to see if we can get it any better. Okay, I think we're so sensitive here because we have just a ground loop in there instead of a good outside ground. So I think I'll try to hook a good outside ground on there. Running from the ground off the AC. I wouldn't try this at home, but okay, might get a little better, might get a little more stability with it. I think doing that extra grounding really helped on that to enhance the stability of it. Let's go back inside and test again, see how she sounds in there. This coil's very sensitive. George, what are you doing? Huh? Oh yeah, listen to how much more stable the sound is. Oh yeah, that's awesome. So I've noticed every time you start it up again, it kind of picks a different frequency, so it's kind of weird, but the coil's done a great job. And I really hope that you're enjoying this project, and we'll be back to work on it some more and do some more improvements and beef it up a little bit, clean it up. But man, it was a lot of fun today. I got to tell you, well, thumbs up are appreciated. A labor of love here, and really cool. I always kind of wanted to build our own really low power transmitter for the Rancho, and this was just an initial experiment on my part to see if it could even be done. So, you know, I hope you enjoyed this a lot. There's a few schematics out there for building FM radios. I just chose to use a little cardboard box as my form. And instead of having an ugly looking thing, I put all of my parts on top there for a much neater assembly, and the coil would be up there to transmit nicely. Anyway, I can't thank you guys enough for being along on a really cool Saturday, and this is the stuff I dreamed about when I first got the Rancho, that I would be able to come here and spend some time, and when all the renovations and all the other work were done, take a deep breath and have it respond. So thanks for being here today as the Rancho gets its own FM radio transmitter. Thanks everyone.